Hello, thank you very much, and thank you for joining me in the studio on this wet day here in Wales. As you can see, I got a portrait behind me on my main easel, so I'm going to be filming down again today. And I thought we'd do like maybe a mountain in the background, a couple of fir trees, maybe a river or something. I don't know. But without further ado, let's have a look at the palette and see what colours that I'm going to be using today. So as you can see on my palette, I have got some Mars black, some burnt umber. They're my darkening colours. I got some titanium white, some cerulean blue, ultramarine blue, although you can use any blue that you find that you've got, so don't have to use these colours in particular. I've got a little bit of hooker's green because I had some lying around. I got some yellow ochre and a little bit of cadmium red. And don't worry about the Naples yellow up in the far corner, because that's what I'm using for my portrait. And again, I'm going to be filming downwards today like this, onto my little easel that I've got there. And it's always a good idea to have an angled painting surface rather than flat. I've had a few people say to me that I paint flat. It plays with the perspectives and stuff, so it's always good to have at least a 45-degree angle and just put it on a piece of wood or something like that and prop it up with some books. That'll work well. So I've got a 10 by 12, a little bit of cardboard there which I've gessoed. But without further ado, let's get on to this lesson. Right, so I'm just going to grab myself a pencil, and what I thought we would do today is just quickly sketch out. Now, you don't have to draw in order to paint, but what's a good idea to actually do is to get yourself an idea of where you're going. So let's say we wanted a mountain in the background. It's a good idea to actually just sketch a little mountain type of shape like this. It's coming down there, and we got another ridge coming maybe that way like that, just to give you an idea of where you're going. It doesn't have to be accurate. You don't have to draw in order to paint. That's all I'm trying to say. And we're going to have another mountain maybe coming in front of this one with some trees and things. There we are. We're going to put some trees and things on there just to give that a bit of distance in there. And I thought what we would do is we'd have a little bit of grass area coming down like this. Maybe a couple of rocks, maybe a couple of rocks. Another bank coming in then like that, maybe with a couple of rocks and things. And that's going to go back into the distance there like this. We could have some more foliage and rocks and bushes and things like that. We might have a few trees in here, a couple of fir trees in there or something like that, and we'll have a little river coming down in that direction, and we'll just play with that as we come along. Maybe a path coming there like that. So all this river this is all the flow of water coming off that mountain up there. There we go. And that's all you need to do, really. You don't need to draw in order to paint. So the most important thing that we must do is paint, and that's what painting's all about, is the fact that we must paint. So I'm going to get a little bit of medium mix into my container here. There we are. We'll put a little bit of that in, and you can see I added a little bit of water to that. So there's my medium mix. That's available at www.clive.art.co.uk. So add a little bit of water to that. That just ekes it out a little bit. And that's all the fluid that we're going to need to put into our paints. So I've got a little 1/2 inch short flat. Again, I'm just going to moisten down my canvas and my brush like I normally do. Pick up some white. Pick up a little bit of ultramarine blue, because I love ultramarine blue for skies. And let's just put some sky blue into the sky. Now we can make this nice and light like that, and just using a crisscross motion like this, bring in that paint in like that. Now I put a little bit of burnt umber onto my canvas, onto my we'll call it a canvas, into the gesso. So I've got some gesso, and I added a little bit of burnt umber to the gesso, and I just spread that onto the painting surface, we'll say. And that gave me a a lovely tonal colour to play with. So I'm just going to have a little bit more ultramarine blue. I just want little bits at a time, that's the most important thing, to get some colour in there like that. We want that nice blue sky. Bit of blue over there. A little bit more white, a little bit ultramarine blue. And just play with the sky. Just let the paint do what it wants to do. Don't worry, don't overthink skies, because patterns in skies are just random, so it doesn't really matter. What you want to do is just sit back every so often and look at your sky and think, yeah, okay, so maybe I need to put a bit more cloud in there. This is going to be a really thick cloudy sky like this. Get a little bit of ultramarine blue, just give it a little bit of shadow underneath there like this, and then just get a little bit more titanium white and bring in some fluffiness like that. Don't forget we're going to have trees and things in that in the background in a minute, so we don't want to work too hard on our sky. But what we need to do is just put a few little bits of cloud just coming in like this. There you go. Now I'm sitting in the studio today, and it started to rain. Now, it hasn't rained for a good few weeks now, in fact, and it's nice and warm out there, but it is quite wet. So I thought I would come into the studio today, a little bit of moisture. You could see that I'm not using a lot of moisture. I'm not using a lot of water into my paints. Now, one of the questions I get asked a lot is, Clive, my paints dry very quickly, and that's because that you're using too much water into your paints. A lot of people are in and out the water like this, in and out, in and out, in and out, and that's not a good thing. Trust me, that is not a good thing to do. So what we're going to do now is just putting in some possible water flow. So this is where the river's going to be. So I need to darken this up in places like this. Just put just a few lines of colour in. We can play around with that at a later stage. And I got a little bit of Silurian blue there. Silurian blue, it tends to be green. It's got a green bias. Now, what's a bias? The bias is the colour that's dominated. So it looks blue, but it's got a lot of green in it. So what you can do is you can get a colour like that. You can get a little bit of white to it, and you add some white to that, and you should see it's got a bit more of a green undertone to it, whereas ultramarine blue has got a warmer or a redder type of undertone to it, or biased. You can see that's very warm. It's more of a red blue. You can have green ultramarine blue is green bias, but this happens to be a red one. So you can see that's a lot warmer than that. See the green? You should be able to see the green opposite that now. There's a lot of green in it, so when you come to make oranges and things like that, be careful, because not oranges, sorry. When you come to make greens, be careful with these different biases. So a cerulean blue and yellow makes a lovely green, whereas an ultramarine blue and yellow tends to be a little bit more dulled. In fact, orange, I don't know. What am I like? Wash the brush. Let's get a bit of burnt umber. I want to put a little bit of black to that. A little bit of burnt umber and black. Let's just work on this one mountain first. Let's just put this mountain type of shape in like this. There we go. Bump. Like that. That's the first mountain in. Yeah, it is. That's your first mountain done. Now you can put some white snow on there, or we can get a little credit card like this, or a little plastic card. This is a loyalty card, and you can drag some snow on like that, and just scrape that paint away, and people are going to be amazed how real that looks. There we go. Simple as that. That's one way of doing a little bit of snow on some mountains. I'll show you another way in a second. So I'm going to add a bit of white now to this mountain. Because it's in front of that one and it's a bit more, it's catching a bit more light is what I'm trying to say. There we go. Washy washy, brushy brushy. Getting a bit of white. Just getting a bit of white on the brush like that. Now I'm using the brush at a very angled, I'm using it between my fingertips like that. What I'm going to do is just drag down like this, put in some shapes in. Just touching the surface of the painting like that. Quite distant type of mountains like that. So what I want to do now is magically dry that, which you can do. You can use a hairdryer, which is what I'm going to do now. I'm going to dry that off and then I'm going to put some mist over those mountains. So after I magically dry that, that's me washy washy brushy brushy. Now we need to put some mist in there. We need to knock that back a bit, and one of the tips that I like using is putting a very thin wash of a white paint over that, which I can do with my medium mix, which is available at www.clive5art.co.uk, and that allows me to do this. Now we can use mixing white, which is this one, and I have been asked, saying that one of the questions I had the other day from one of the subscribers said that we can't get zinc mixing white or zinc white in acrylics, only in oils. But there you go, it's mixing white, it's called in with Winsor & Newton, but you can get it called zinc white. So there you are, that's the one you want. Galleria range, I know, and that too, but that will last you years, in fact. But I'm not going to use that today. I'm just going to use some titanium white. The difference between titanium white and the mixing white is the titanium white is more opaque. In other words, you won't see through it. It's not as transparent. But I'm going to use that because I know the majority of you have got that. So I'm thinning that down with my medium mix, which is only available at www.clive5art.co.uk, not available in shops. And I do send that around the world. So I'm just going to put some mist just in the bottom of that mountain like that. I'm just going to slightly put a little bit of white paint just over the back mountain, maybe a little bit in that front mountain like that, just to give it a little bit of mist, a little bit more white coming down just there like this. And I'm going to feather that off because there's always mist. There's always mist in the bottom of these mountains. There really is. Get your finger in there. Don't worry about grease spots. We don't worry about things like that when we're doing little lessons like this. Let's get a bit more white there, just to make it look a bit more misty, in fact. There we are. Let's put a couple of little clouds coming in across the top of that mountain here like this. So it's a layer on top of a dried layer, which is what we want. We want these clouds to come in now. Like just little wispy clouds, just like they're just floating around there like that. So we got a little bit of cloud coming in front of those mountains to make it look as if they're standing back in the distance there. So let's get some burnt umber. We got some burnt umber. We got a little bit of black into that and some yellow, because I want to make this color more of a green. Now there's actually blue in Mars Black, which will make you a green. So if you want a nice dark green, add some a little bit of yellow to some Mars Black, and you'll find that you've got a really nice dark green, which is what I'm trying to do here now. And I'm just going to try and do a little bit of a range of maybe forestry type of scenes there, just in front of those mountains, a little bit darker in places like this. So we want this to come up just like that. Maybe that's just another rolling hill, a mountain, but it's further down in the valley, and it's got no snow on it, and it's got a lot of trees and things. A lot of trees and things on there. There we are. Let's just get that down like that. And what we can do now, we can get our little brush and we can just tappy like that. We'll do that again. Tappy. Just put a little essence of. Are there any trees there? There may be. Yes, it's your world. You make it up. Tappy. There you go, like that. What we're doing is just roughing that edge up, basically, and giving it an illusion of that there's some trees and things there. You can see, it looks like there's massive trees. You can't tell one tree from another because the simple reason is they're so far away you can't tell. But if you wanted to, you could add a little bit of more yellow just to change the tone of colour up, and we could just put a few, maybe a little bit of white, just to show you the difference. There we are. Let's just put a little bit of light just here and there like this. Maybe that was a bit bright, but it doesn't matter. There could be a couple of areas just catching some light. There we are. We'll play with that. We'll play with it. Just a couple of dippy-doppy marks like that. Top. A couple of these trees just catching the light. They are. Who knows? But you can see what I mean. That's the most important thing. And again, what I'm going to do then is magically get my hairdryer and just give that a quick zip, just to dry that bottom off. And just give my brush just a quick wash, and you guessed it, you're already ahead of me. I know you know what I'm going to do now. I'm going to put some more mist in. Because what that does, it actually breaks that line of trees up like that. Just mist. There you go. So back into this dark green now. Let's just get a little bit more yellow to add to that. A bit more black. I don't want to go too bright too quickly. There we are. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to put another line of trees, dippy-doppy marks, just like that. Maybe a little bit brighter. And you see that line of mist is just breaking that up. So we go into a bit of a darker colour now. And let's put some trees in. Like that. Trees or foliage or something like that. that we don't know. Just mix it up a bit. There we go. And let's put another tree down there like that. And using the edge of the brush, put in some Christmas tree shapes like that. Maybe another one there. There you go. We could put a bit of light on them trees in a second. Put that one on an angle because he's falling over. Been blown away in the wind, yep. There we go. Let's get some yellow. And let's just put some highlights on these trees now. Bit of white mixed into that yellow, because you just want to give it a sparkle, don't we? Just want to sparkle that up a touch. Very, very lightly. Much better on a slightly bigger canvas, this. But what I use these for is the way to build a painting, and I can take that painting then onto a bigger canvas. And then have fun creating it after we've had an idea. Because I use these little things for idea paintings. That's what I use these for. And I'm just going to build in some shadow, because we need to come down into this water area. Like that. So already we've got this little bit of a thing going on. What we need to do now again is let's have a look at the front of this. We were going to get some rocks and stuff in, so let's just use this Mars black, a little bit of burnt umber, and let's just get some shadowing effects into this water. That could come down like that into a little bit of a bank, and then another big rock or something there, just to play around, and that could be running off the canvas, going onto the floor like that. So let's just block this out. And again, what we could do before that gets dry, we could get our little card, and we could just knock some rocks and things into there like that. See how that works? You don't have to work hard sometimes, especially when you're doing little sample paintings and idea paintings. You wanted to build this painting into something else. say on a larger scale. You just need to get an idea of what you're doing. So already I put some rocks in there, and I haven't worked hard for it. Some yellow back over there. Let's get some green going on. Let's put some green in. Could have some more rocks then over there. Get some of that dark colour. Smaller rocks over there, going into the river. And again, get your end of your card. People are going to go, oh, you did that. How did you do that? Wow, look at the detail in that. How did you do that? It took years and years of work, that did. Years and years of practice. That's what they tell you, don't they? And all these artists, they took years and years and years of hard work. And nobody shared any of these details, these ideas with you, except me. Well, maybe others, but you know what I mean. You don't get shown this a lot, put it that way. They want to keep these secrets to themselves, these artists. They don't want you to produce your own paintings. They want you to buy theirs. There you go. Already some rocks. We've already built that front up. We could see the river coming in now. We could bring this grass over there like that. A river's coming down in the mountains. It's coming all the way around like a big snake, and it's coming around. You're going to make these stories up, because if you don't make these stories up, then you won't be able to paint the painting the way you want to paint it. So let's put some darker colour, because we've got to have rocks this side as well, otherwise it won't look right, will it? So let's put some rocks in there like this, and maybe have a couple of little rocks in the water. Come to that in a second. We can put some rocks then. Yeah. The rain is coming down quite heavy out there today, and I'm so glad that I'm stuck indoors. What I've done there is, because it's dried a little bit, I can't scrape the paint off, so what we'll do is just put some little bits of flecky white paint just on top, so there's rocks to make it look as if there are rocks there, but they're going to be in shadow anyway, so it doesn't really matter. We just, as long as we got a little bit of highlight colour just on them like that. There you go. You can see that. You can see that, I'm sure. Okay, let's just darken this edge off here, because that's like a bit of a bank. We get some green and get some grass coming down like that. There you go. That'll do for now. That will do for now. So let's have a look at some trees now. Let's get some burnt umber and some black. I'm going to put a bit of ultramarine blue to that, a little bit of ochre's green. I'm not using much colour today. I'm just going to put in some, I don't want to ruin them rocks that I just done, so there we go. There's a little path there, look. Just put in some green, maybe, why not? Yes, let's just get couple of fir trees coming in maybe. Like that. A couple of trees poking their heads up. There you go. It's a big mass of colour. Could get another one there. Put another one there. There maybe. Let's put a little one just on the side like that. He got blown over in the wind, that one. Get some yellow just under there like that. I tell you what would be fun. I tell you what would be fun. I'm going to do it in a second now. I just came up with an idea actually. I'm still using this brush. Look, I'm still using this brush. So I'm just going to go into some Hooker's green now. And a little bit of burnt umber just to darken that Hooker's green up. And I'm just going to use the very edge of the brush once again. Put a few branches and things in. There you go. Put a few in the background there like that. Put in some light, a little bit of yellow on some thing now, just to pick up some light into them trees. We need to sparkle them up a bit. Let's put, kind of watch I don't touch the wet paint with my fingers. This one's growing on me. Oh, that's okay. That's a big mama tree. Let's get a little bit of white sparkle, bring some light. Into these trees like that. Playing with light and colour and dark, midtones, highlights, shadows. You name it, we play with it. Getting some of that light. Bit of yellow into that. Let's get that more yellow. I want to get some definite light coming in. Like this. Let me just put my card down because I'm nursing my card at the moment and I don't know why. And we need to get some shadow colour, so we need some Hooker's green and a little bit of burnt umber there. Mixing all that together. There you go. You can see what I'm trying to do now, hopefully. So we need to bring some light into this area now. And just play with a few brush marks here and there and here. And who knows, it might actually start looking like something. It's just a play on colour. I got a bit of a spot there. Right, before we do any more, let's get some white. And let's just put some white into this. We need some ripples and stuff into this water, we do. So first of all, I'm just going to put some marks on, like this. Dum-de-dum. Let's get a little bit of that green colour. Bringing in some green on top of that water, because it's going to pick up some green reflections from those trees. There we are. I tell you what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get my magic hairdryer and dry that once more, as I'm picking up paint on my fingers. Look. See? So what I'm going to do now is I am actually going to change my brush a little bit. Let me just see which brush I should use. I'm just going to use a detail brush. There we are. This is just a number 6 brush. It's not very good actually. I'm going to use this one instead. This is a number 1 brush. Okay, so what I want to do is get some of the cerulean blue and white. I'm just going to put in a few marks here and there like this. I'm just going to work on the water for the moment. I just want to get some ripples and stuff in this water. I'm using a few different colours on this one now. There you go. And get some ultramarine blue. Thin it down a little bit just to put some shadows in the water like that. Brush it in with your finger if you want to. Don't forget, you can get dirty if you want to. Get dirty, don't worry about it. That's all the fun. Get some of these colours in the water there like that. Just get a bit of burnt umber to that. Just darken this sun side off a bit. Okay, I'm just going to change my brush a minute. I'm just going to get a little tiny short flat just to put some shading in. You take as much time as you want. That's all about the fun of it. Is you should never rush. Should never rush a paint, and the painting will tell you when it's finished. The painting will tell you. Don't listen to yourself. Just look at the painting, and the painting will tell you that it's finished. Some people say to me, "How do you know when you finished?" Well, because the painting talks to me. It says, "Put a little bit of paint here, put a little bit of shadow there," and I'm just looking at the scene and I'm imagining And imagine in the scene, there you are, we put that rock in the water there like that. Just imagine in the scene, and the painting talks to me. You might think that's a bit mad, but trust me, it works. It really does. Just a bit of light reflection in the water. Just like that. Bit of pure white, bit of foam. So there's always foam in water. Put a bit of foam around the edges like this, where it's just catching on the bank. Maybe just a little bit over there like that, just to separate that off a bit like this. We could get some black and burnt umber on our brush and put a few pebbles, stones and things like that. Look like stepping stones. There's not a bridge, there's some stepping stones. So let's just put a bit of highlight on the tops of these stones so you can see them. There we are. And what we can do to emphasize that is to get some white paint now. Bed them in, but put a bit of foam coming off them because the water's running around these stones. And it's going to create foam. There you go. Couple of stepping stones there. Because we've got to have somewhere to walk. Now if we got stepping stones, then we're going to need a path. So let's just get a little bit of burnt umber and some yellow. Burnt umber and yellow, mix them in like a raw sienna type of colour. And let's just put a dirt path coming in. Like that. A bit of white maybe. Let's go down there like that. Get some burnt umber and some white. Quite like burnt umber and white. It's a lovely colour. Touch of black. I want to get some contrast into this path to get it to sit out. And it's not looking as good as I thought it would. So what we need to do is get some green. And I just want to maybe brighten that up a touch. So what we could do, let's just do something radical. Let's get a, where's my little brush? There it is. Let's put a nice, that's a bit thin. Put a crunky old tree. Maybe he's one of those trees that's just blown, been there for donkey's years, and he's just got old. And he's just about given up. Life's been quite cruel to this tree. Because he's all rotten and he's got really old. And he's looking the rest is, you've got to be careful with these trees, they grow on you. Yeah. Maybe as a branch snapped off on the ground. A couple of twigs here and there like this. Oh, he's had a really hard life, this one. Just rotting away. There you go. People have come along and stolen some of his branches and had a campfire, and birds have been picking off his leaves and his branches over the years to for their nests and things, and all these deers have been coming along and rubbing up against him, and he's had enough. He just wants a nice peaceful life now. He just wants a peaceful end of days. That's what he wants. That's what he wants. He just wants a nice end of days. There you go. Could be another one. Just there and now. As well, a couple of these. These are the old timers. They've just had enough. He's really dead, this one. Gone really white and grey. There you go. What we need to do now is get I'm just going to get a little fan brush now. I don't want these little tiny fan brushes, and I'm just going to get some green. I'm just going to put some grass. Just like that. Tappy, tappy, tappy. Put some grass then. Do there, like this. Some of this grass has been bleached with some of the sun. Just playing, put a few different brush strokes in there and here and there. Let's get some burnt umber, some white. Let's see if we can't get this path in. There you go. I'll do. Let's get some grass then. Long grass. Poking up. There you go. And what do we do? I normally like to put a little bird in. There you go. So I hope you've enjoyed this lesson today. Please like, comment, share and subscribe. But don't forget to pop along to my main channel and put a hashtag Clive Art into the YouTube search bar and look at the main page, go to notifications, click the bell, make sure you've got your notifications switched on to your phone, otherwise you're going to miss my weekly uploads. But thank you very much for joining me in the studio today. I hope you've enjoyed that. It's a bit of fun and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye.